Every single day, something new comes out about them. These days, Toni keeps saying that she feels very tired. She says she is fed up and feels like she has been the one doing everything for her family for many years. She says it feels like she has been carrying everyone on her back. When I was around 13 or 14 years old, my mother had a very bad accident. She fell down and hurt her back very badly. Because of that, she had to stay in the hospital for a long time. During that time, I had to become like a parent. I looked after the house and took care of everything. I became like a second mother because my mother could not do anything at that time. If they were not always depending on you, how do you think your life would look today? What would you be doing? She smiled softly and said, "Oh, I would have gone much higher. I really believe that." There is no doubt that Toni is the most successful one in the Braxton family. She has won 7 Grammy Awards and has sold more than 70 million albums all over the world. Toni is not just known in her family, she is one of the most successful women in R&B music history. She started her singing journey with her sisters in a group called the Braxtons back in the late 1980s. Later, she signed a deal to make her own solo album. Her first album, Toni Braxton, came out in 1993. It became a big hit and quickly reached #1 on the Billboard charts. The album sold more than 10 million copies. It had some very popular songs like Breathe Again and another sad love song. These songs became big hits and helped the album become a huge success. Some famous producers worked on it too, like Babyface and Antonio L.A. Reid. After that, Toni released another album called Secrets. This album also became very successful. It had the song Unbreak My Heart, which was a big hit all around the world. That one song alone sold 10 million copies. It is still known as one of the best-selling songs ever. Toni has made 9 studio albums in total. Her most recent album came out in the year 2020. All of her albums have done well, and she earned a lot of money, especially in the beginning of her career. But even with all the money and success, things were not easy for Toni. She had to take care of her whole family. She paid for most of the bills and helped everyone. It was very hard for her. Toni has said many times that she was the one who had to handle everything, while her other sisters did not help much. Only Tamar helped a little by paying a few bills. When their parents got divorced, their mother was left with almost nothing. Toni said, "I am not going to leave my mother alone. I will always make sure she is taken care of." She also said that none of her other siblings helped her take care of their mother. She had to do it all by herself. Toni said that besides Tamar, no one really said anything. Before Tamar was married to Vince, no one stepped forward to help. No one said, "Mommy's car insurance is due, let us help Toni with that." No one said, "Tamar needs a car, let us figure it out." It was always quiet. What Toni was really saying is that even though Tamar can be a lot to deal with sometimes, she was helping their mother long before she had money. She helped when she had very little herself. The other sisters would just say, "Toni has money, she can do it." What made Toni feel even worse was that while she was the one paying for everything, Trina and Towanda still wanted to be paid for working with her. But Tamar, the only one helping with bills, never asked for any money. Toni said, "Even when we do shows together, you still charge me. I do not charge you. Tell me, when was the last time I asked you for money for a show?" She added, "For many years, Tamar never asked me for anything when she sang background for me, but Trina did. And Towanda, she works as an assistant, so it makes sense if she gets paid. That is her job." Then Toni said something that really showed how she felt. She said, "I just wish everything was not always about Toni's money. It should not always be about my savings and my wallet. I have never charged anyone in my family for helping them. But when I found out that Trina and Towanda were getting paid, it made me very upset. I was really hurt." Now, to be fair, many people understand that Trina also had her own needs. She had herself and 2 children to take care of. She had been singing backup for Toni for many years. Every time she helped Toni, it took time away from other work she could have done to earn money for herself. But Toni and Tamar felt that the real problem was something else. They felt that helping should come from the heart. It should not always be about who is getting paid. It should not always be about what Toni can do for everyone else. Even though Toni was working very hard and helping everyone around her, she still had to carry the full weight of the family. Trina was getting paid, but she was not really helping much with money. Toni was still the main person who was paying for everything. She would say, "It is okay, I will take care of it," even when she was struggling inside. She did not always want to speak about it, but deep down, she was hurting. What made everything even more painful was that while Toni was supporting her whole family, she also had big money problems of her own. Even though she was a huge star, and even though her music made more than $170 million for her record label, Toni Braxton had to file for bankruptcy more than one time. Many people were shocked by this. How could someone so famous and so successful be in that kind of trouble? But the truth was very sad. Toni was making millions for her record company, which was called Arista, but she was only earning around 35 cents for each album sold. That was all she got. It was not fair at all. So she decided to take legal action. She filed a lawsuit against the label. Then, only 8 weeks later, in January 1998, Toni also had to file for bankruptcy. Later on, she explained what really happened. She said the contract she had with the label was not fair at all. In the end, she received less than $2,000 in royalty money, and she had to pay back the label for things like clothes, traveling, time in the music studio, and even the cost of her music videos. Her financial situation became so bad that some people even started saying things about her that were not true. It was a very difficult time in her life. Toni was doing everything she could, making music, working hard, and looking after her family. But still, she was left with very little. She was tired, she was hurt, and she felt like no one really saw how much she was carrying. Toni's situation became even harder when people started saying that she transferred $53,490 to her husband, Kerry Lewis, to try to avoid paying back her creditors in her bankruptcy case. This just made things worse for her. At the same time, Toni did an interview with Oprah. She hoped the interview would help people understand her financial struggles and maybe feel sorry for her. But it turned out to be a very embarrassing and hurtful experience for Toni. She felt like Oprah was being judgmental, harsh, and had no sympathy for her at all. Toni explained how she felt, saying, "She was so mean to me. I could not believe it. I had always loved and admired her. I looked up to her. But instead of showing me kindness, she scolded me on live television." In the interview, Oprah asked, "Do you take full responsibility for the situation you are in right now?" Toni answered, 100%, 100%, 100%. But she could not believe what Oprah said next. Oprah told her, "I hear you have Gucci flatware. I am Oprah Winfrey, and I do not have Gucci flatware." Toni was shocked. She thought to herself, "First of all, I did not even know Gucci made flatware. And Oprah does not have it because she chose not to buy it, not because she could not afford it? What is Oprah talking about?" Right away, Oprah's words made Toni feel small. She said, "She made me feel so small. That moment completely changed my career. It made people start looking down on me. It hurt me so much." At that time, there were also rumors that Oprah had purposely embarrassed Toni on her show. Some people even said that Oprah had told Toni's record label about what she was going to ask before the interview. This made things even worse for Toni, who was already going through a tough time. When it came to negotiating her contract, things were not looking good for Toni. Despite selling over 16 million records, her situation was tough. When Toni appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to talk about her bankruptcy, Oprah called the record label La Face and warned them. She said, "Toni is going to be on my show today. She plans to make you all look bad, but I think it is wrong. You should watch the show." Despite everything that happened behind the scenes, Toni faced even more challenges. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again. This time, it was because she had been diagnosed with microvascular angina and lupus. These serious health problems forced her to cancel her big Las Vegas contract. Toni explained, "A lot of people do not understand that my second bankruptcy happened because I was sick. I have lupus, and my Las Vegas show got canceled. The insurance did not cover it, so I had to pay for everything myself. And that cost a lot of money. It was a huge amount to pay just to put on a show. People do not understand how much it costs. When you see a concert with lights, the band, and the artist on stage, The artist has to pay for all of that. The artist has to pay for the hotel rooms, the salaries, and everything else. By the time everything is paid, there is nothing left. As if all of this was not enough, in 2019, Toni faced even more trouble. The IRS filed a lien against her on December 4th, saying she owed $340,252. It felt like just another blow in the long list of challenges she had to face. In 2017, Toni owed almost $99,000 in back taxes. Just days later, the state of California's Franchise Tax Board added a tax lien for over $116,000. This brought her total tax debt to nearly $500,000. People started to wonder if her family might have contributed to her problems. Toni had been the one taking care of everyone while also dealing with a serious, expensive illness and not getting enough money from her record label. When their show came back, the sisters began having issues over their payments. They could not understand why Toni and Tamar were being paid so much more than they were. This caused a big argument, especially for Toni, who felt that she deserved to be paid more than everyone else. According to reports, things got so bad that the producers had to stop filming after a huge fight between the sisters. It got so heated that Toni walked out and said she was done with it all. Before Traci passed away, the sisters had promised each other they would get along, but now no one seemed to be getting along. In fact, things had only gotten worse. For Toni, it is not only about the money, she is simply tired of all the drama. There have been reports that none of the sisters went to the premiere party for Tamar and Miss E's cooking show. It seems that a big argument happened just 2 days before the premiere, and because of that, the sisters did not attend the event. Afterward, Towanda started posting cryptic messages, saying things like, "To everyone who has distanced themselves from me, kindly stay there." Towanda also married her longtime partner, Sean Hall, in a small ceremony in Decatur, Georgia, after being together for more than 9 years. While Toni and Trina stood by her side as bridesmaids, Tamar was not there. We already know that the relationship between Tamar and Towanda is not great. Even when they were filming the first season of their show, it was clear from the very first episode. Towanda was asked how she felt about not having a close relationship with Tamar. Before she could answer, Tamar jumped in and said that Towanda does not care. Tamar then added that Towanda makes more of an effort to stay in touch with Toni and Trina than with her. Tamar shared that she usually has to be the one to reach out to Towanda, and that Towanda only calls when they are filming. Tamar said, "I respect where people are. I do not engage. I do not put my energy into certain things. I make different choices in my life, and that is just where I am now." It was clear that the tension between them was real and deep. Towanda said that she could not remember the last time she spoke to her sister. However, she clearly remembered that Tamar did not reach out to her for her birthday in September, even though they filmed the episode in March. Towanda seemed really frustrated with Tamar and shared that she is only focused on the people in her home, her children, and her partner. As the sisters argued, people started to take sides. Some thought that Towanda had long-standing issues with Tamar, while others believed Towanda was jealous of Tamar's success. The drama between them has also caused problems with the other family members. Reportedly, Toni is just done with everything, and we cannot forget how Tamar had a meltdown before she decided to shut down her social media accounts. She posted several angry messages on her Instagram, saying her family was toxic. These posts were deleted later, but they added even more fuel to the fire. Tamar wrote on her Instagram, "You all have no idea. None of the gaslighting is crazy, and I am going back into treatment. Oh my gosh, I just pray that my marriage can be saved and my life can be spared. My family is awful." In another post, she said, "I am so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never gone back to Braxton family values." Then, Tamar recently blocked Toni on social media. Toni found out when she tried to tag Tamar in a birthday post. Toni shared that she thought she might have been blocked when she said, "I wanted to repost that gorgeous picture of you, but I am blocked again. Anyway, happy birthday, Tay." Tamar, however, said that Toni was just trying to manipulate her. Tamar said that Toni could have called her if she really wanted to talk. Tamar then posted screenshots of a text message conversation between her and Toni on her Instagram story. The text showed that just the day before, they were trying to figure out which city the other was in. The drama just keeps going. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts. Toni has been the main person supporting her family for many years. Do you think her family drained her? Did they have something to do with her financial struggles? Some people think her family played a big part in her problems.